Today's stories include Like a Dragon Yakuza reviews are in, Yooka-Replaylee is back, and what it'll take to get Helldivers 2 on Xbox. We'll have all this and more because this is Kind of Funny Games Daily. Yo, what's up? Welcome to Kind of Funny Games Daily for Thursday, October 24th, 2024. I'm one of your hosts, Blessing Adeoye Jr. Joining me is the force that is Gary Whitta.
What a pleasure it is always to host with you.
Same with you, Gary.
And you might be my favorite person to host with. I don't know.
Thank you, Gary. I will say, whenever I see your name on the schedule for hosting KFGD with me, it is always like let's
it's a treat for you as well.
Yeah, it's always a treat for me.
I'm glad it's mutual. Okay, good.
Yeah. How are you doing this week? Are you excited for Halloween?
Yeah, I try to get into Halloween every year. It's a little easier to the point of being unavoidable when you've got kids. I got a kid who's 12 and one who just turned 3. And the 3-year-old is now, she loved it last year, but like now she's at an age where she's able to kind of like understand it a bit more and get into it. She's super excited about candy and the spookies and just getting dressed up. It's brilliant.
So who's the one that takes out the kids to go trick-or-treating?
Oh, we both go.
Oh, that's lovely.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, we go. We have family friends, and we go to we all go as a group to everyone, like wherever you live, you will know like where the good neighborhoods are, like where they give out the candy and the houses that really get into Halloween. I always say the great thing about having kids is almost like a second childhood. Like, I loved Christmas when I was a kid, and then as you grow up, you kind of inevitably age. I still love Christmas, but like not the way a kid does.
Yeah,
right. You age out of it, you mature out of it. But then when you have kids, you kind of vicariously get to experience it all again through their excitement. And Halloween is obviously a part of that as well. It's great.
So are you doing the thing where you're looking up the rich neighborhoods? I know San Francisco's a weird one. We're talking about rich neighborhoods.
There's a couple. If you were going to stay in San Francisco, there's definitely a particular neighborhood that's well known for.
It was close to the last office, I believe. If we're thinking about the same neighborhood.
Yeah, Ingleside Terrace.
Yeah.
A lot of big, expensive, fancy houses, and some of them really, really go all out.
That was the place.
And there's a couple of others. We're actually going out of town, but there's another. There's usually like a big cluster of the house. You can tell which houses are really.
Well, that's my thing when I think back, because like the reason why I asked if you're the one that goes with the kids is because for me, I was the youngest of my siblings, and so it was never my parents taking me out trick or treating. It was my older sisters.
Oh, interesting.
And it got to the point where I remember when, I guess my oldest sister was the one who had her license and so she could drive. And so we looked up what's the like richest neighborhood we can go to in our area? And I think it was like Cherry Hills in Champaign.
Right.
And we drove over and trick-or-treated there. And like, it was cool to have a sister that had the forethought to be like, oh no, we're going to the place that's going to give the best candy, and then have it be just a pure sibling experience. I remember that being super special.
At what point do you think as a kid you age out of trick-or-treating? Because like I said, my oldest kid is 12. But she no signs of losing interest in trick-or-treating.
I think it depends on your siblings. Like, I think if you have younger siblings, I think you can get away with going while being older, right? Because
that's the cool thing for her is that she can say she's chaperoning the younger one, but like she's in for the candy
like whenever
as much as anyone else.
Your older kid is going to be 17. Yeah, they're going to be taking the younger 7-year-old sister.
Do you know what the Switch Witch is?
The Switch Witch?
The Switch Witch.
No.
This is something I learned from my wife. It's apparently a way to prevent the kids from like gorging too much on the candy, because like both of my kids make out like bandits, right? They bring back so much candy that if you let them eat it all, they're going to get themselves sick. Mm-hmm. So they have it. So there's a thing called the Switch Witch where you give up some of your candy to the Switch Witch, and she replaces it with like other things, like I don't know, like games or things that aren't going to make you sick. So you basically trade in some of your candy, still get some candy, but you get rid of the excess and get other things in exchange.
Is this like a thing that's out during Halloween? Like you find the Switch Witch, or is this a
No. It's like it's like the Tooth Fairy, right? The parents do it.
Gotcha. Okay.
Right? It's like you leave something out for the Switch Witch, and in the morning it'll have been replaced with something.
See, I love that because that's way more creative than what my parents did. My parents just stole our candy.
Just it's all ours.
Like, we had our candy just in the pantry, like on the top shelf, and we would go to like get some the next day, and we would notice like, oh, this seems to be a lot less candy than what we had, and then over the week, just fucking go down and down.
The full-size candy bar thing is something I know became popular recently, right? Like the rich houses will give you they'll go to Costco or whatever and buy like a big ass box of like full-size Kit Kats or Twixes or whatever. And it's like, that's the house that has the full-size candy bars. I don't know if that was a thing.
I think that's
always been a thing.
Yeah, like it was the thing of. I think everybody knew the house that was giving out full-size candy bars because that was such a rare occurrence. it was always like the mini Three Musketeers or whatever. But if you could find that, like, oh man, they're giving out a whole Snickers, that was like a fucking treasure trove.
What did you consider, full size aside, because obviously that's always a win. What did you consider? What was the candy that you would want to get, and what was the candy you're like, oh my god, I have to get rid of this?
Oh, okay, get rid of this. Oh, what are they called? What are the little like? They're like these sphere like wafers covered like surrounded in chocolate, small ones. Which is funny because I actually like them.
Sphere wafers covered in chocolate?
Chat is gonna know what I'm talking. Whoppers.
Whoppers?
Oh, yeah, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
The malted balls.
The
yeah.
Whoppers was like you like this is all you could afford, which is like I'm grateful.
As an English person, I'm gonna do you.
I don't hate Whoppers.
I'm gonna do you a massive favor. I'm about to do you a massive favor.
What's up?
Because as you know, as a British person, of course, I hold the correct opinion that American candy is shit.
Really?
Yeah, it's garbage.
You're over
It's
there
an
in the
absolute
UK
joke.
eating the
anyone
the
who comes from anywhere else in the world who
the
comes to
Mitts.
America and eats the chocolate here goes like, is seriously what you fucking call chocolate? This is a joke.
What are you giving out over there?
So the English version of Whoppers are known as Maltesers. I'm going to bring in some Maltesers for
Okay.
you, and you'll understand what a Whopper is supposed to be like.
Okay,
All right,
I'm down for that.
I'll bring in some for you.
On the opposite side, some candy I'm looking forward to. I really like Twix. Like if you gave me a full size Twix, it's like you just made my whole year. Like that was the best thing you could give me.
I do like a Twix. Do you do the thing where you chew off the caramel top part first and then eat the biscuit?
No.
Oh yeah, I do it in 2 layers.
That's
I do it.
nuts.
The great thing about because I can never
You're eating
decide.
Twix like corn.
Well, I often get paralyzed by binary choices. If you do want this one thing or the other thing, like two menu items or whatever, I'm like for some reason a binary choice I always get jammed up. But the great thing about a Twix is you can go both ways. One, you can gnaw off the caramel chocolate first and then eat the biscuit. The other one, you just eat regular style.
Okay, here's the thing. That's absolutely insane, but also I can't.
totally legit.
I can't judge you too much because one of the other candies I really like getting were like just regular Hershey's chocolate bars, specifically not even the full size ones, small milk chocolate Hershey's chocolate bars, because
Just the one in the brown wrapper?
yeah,
Trash.
because and this goes back to like the whole meme of me loving the microwave waffles growing up. Is I would then take those and when I would microwave waffles for breakfast, I'll put them on the waffle and create my own like chocolate waffles.
I'm gonna do a quick. We're gonna do a lightning round.
Uh-huh.
I'm gonna throw some candy at you, not literally,
Yeah.
and you're gonna give me like a
yay or nay?
quick reaction to it.
Okay,
Okay. Butterfinger.
it's all right.
Really,
Okay.
no strong feelings either way.
I don't prefer Butterfinger. Like if I was to rate it on a scale, let's say like 6 is average, Butterfinger is like a 5 to me.
Take 5.
I don't even know what that is.
Oh, you never had a take 5?
No.
That's S tier.
What is a take 5?
Oh
Have
my
you
god,
heard
it's
of a
got
take
everything in it. It's got like crispiness and caramel and like peanuts.
It's like when you get the 8 in Mario Kart. When you get the fucking 8, it's got everything in there.
I guess. Peppermint patty.
Oh, this is a take 5.
That's
I've
a take
never heard of
5.
this.
Well,
Yeah,
that's
I've never
that's
seen
the
this.
Reese's version. The red one there is the generic, is the regular Hershey's one. So what is it? Yeah, pretzels, peanut butter, milk chocolate, obviously, and then the actual take 5 is obscuring the other
chewy-
ingredients.
chewy
But there's
caramel.
there's 5 components to it.
I don't know how
That
I
sounds
feel about
really
this.
good.
Yeah, but you have a turtle.
Yeah.
That's basically a turtle in as a
Okay,
bar.
and I do like a turtle. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
I feel that.
Yeah.
You said, well, peppermint
Patty.
peppermint patty.
And in the round one in the silver foil.
That's another one that I think is fine. Like I don't prefer it, but I don't. If it's there, I'll eat it. Like I'd put that in the same place as Butterfinger for me.
Rolos.
Again, same thing. Yeah, it's fine to me.
I love a Rolo.
Yeah.
You know what's weird is
I
that
wonder
they-
if this is like a
is
like
that,
a
is that you
generation
can
thing.
you can get as like a full sleeve of Rolos,
Mhm.
and you can get individually wrapped ones. But there's no like mini Rolos, like for Halloween, just like 3 Rolos in a little thing, which is weird to me.
Let me throw some candy at you.
Okay, go ahead.
Butterfinger.
I don't love the Butterfinger bars, but I really like their version of the peanut butter cup. I actually prefer their peanut butter cup, which is square, to the Reese's
Interesting.
peanut butter cup.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Snickers.
I'm old enough to remember when that was called a marathon. In England, it was called in England it was called marathon.
No
and then at one point they did a global rebranding when they said, "Attention, citizens, marathon is now Snickers." And we
That's
went, "What the
nuts.
fuck?"
Did it take over the broadcast on like all of your tiny little TVs? Like, breaking
Yeah, it
news,
was. It was like the guy from fucking
citizens of
V
UK.
for
It was
Vendetta.
fucking black and
It
white.
was like John Hurt from V for Vendetta going, "Attention,
Yeah.
You will now. No, we have never had marathons. Marathons have never existed. They have always been called Snickers.
I was gonna say, like, I thought they were born as Snickers. Like, I didn't realize that this was like they changed the name of it. That's crazy.
But then it was weird because then they did a brand extension here of Snickers where they did like an energy bar version of it, which they called Marathon. I'm like, oh, you've resurrected Marathon.
Oh, that's hilarious.
It was weird.
It's like what that's what Bungie's doing.
But yeah, I'm all right. I'm all right on Snickers. I prefer Milky Way.
Okay. Oh, really?
I like a Milky Way. It's a little bit lighter. It's got that lighter touch to it, that fondant.
I'm not mad at that. Like, I do like a Milky Way, but I think I prefer Snickers.
Yeah.
Twix still, like, in that category of candy bars, Twix still.
Do
at
they
the
have
top for
Mars
me.
bar here? You have
Yeah,
a
they do
Mars
have
bar?
Mars
I
bars.
like a Mars bar.
Man, you are like I'm like surprised by some of these picks. So yes, Mars bar is another one where I'm like, I'm never picking up a Mars bar if I see it at the store.
Every now and again, Lion Bar. You like a Lion Bar?
Yeah, sure.
I need to do a
This might be a British-
We
this
need
is
to
a-
bring back the British snack thing. We haven't done it in a while.
I can't tell if this is like a British wall that we created or like if it's like a generational gap.
It was always meant to
Or
be
it's
like a
both.
very manly thing. I remember the TV commercial. It was like, bite it, crunch it,
How do you
chew
feel about
it.
Almond Joy?
Don't like them.
Okay, see, I'm
And I
with
don't
you
like
there.
Baby Ruth either. The idea of salted peanuts in a candy bar, that's ridiculous to me. But I do like a Payday. They just brought out a chocolate Payday variant, which I like very much.
Oh, okay.
What about the fruity stuff? Jolly Ranchers?
Oh, I love a Jolly Rancher.
Yeah, I do too. What's
Jolly
your favorite
Rancher's
flavor?
Top tier.
And why is it
Ooh.
watermelon?
Is watermelon the green one?
Yes.
Yes,
No.
okay.
No, I think
Is watermelon
that's the
red?
apple. I think watermelon is
pink.
Is pink.
Yeah.
Mine's the green.
Watermelon, like the watermelon lifesaver, is green.
Wait, is watermelon your favorite?
Yes.
Okay.
100%. Like if I've got a bag of Jolly Ranchers, the watermelon ones will all go first.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're so
Barrett,
good.
see, Barrett knows.
Yeah, I get it.
Damn. Okay, we got to get one more for you because we got to get
We've got to
into
talk
news.
about video games. But
Yeah, Sour Patch Kids.
I like them.
I love Sour Patch Kids.
I like
dude.
'em.
Any sort of like gummy candy, I'm a big fan of.
Swedish Fish.
I do like Swedish Fish a lot, but they're lower on the tier.
The only thing
of
I don't
gummy
like
candy
about
for me.
Swedish Fish is that they're too chewy. They always get stuck in your teeth.
I know, dude. I had like a lot of dental issues a few years ago, and
yeah?
like one of the first things my dentist told
They
me,
say like no Swedish
they're
Fish.
like no gummy candy,
Right.
and I was like, all right, cool. Took me about 3 days before I went back
You know
and got
the one
another
that's
like
worse,
trolley
but I
thing.
always feel like I'm murdering my teeth, and I only ever have them very rarely when I go to the theater. Is Milk Duds. You ever had a Milk Dud?
Yeah, I'm not a big
They're
fan of
so
Milk Duds.
chewy.
They're
I
super
like,
chewy.
you feel like, oh,
There is a limit to the chew.
It feels like you've glued your teeth together, and you have to like,
I hate
pry them
that.
apart.
I hate that feeling so much.
Yeah, too much for me.
Bear, what's up?
All right, okay.
I want to shout out.
We should do a
just
candy cast sometime.
Yeah.
Oh,
we
Candy
should.
Cast would be fun.
Bunch of Crunch.
Bunch,
I
of,
love a good
bunch of crunch, and
forgot
also
about
just
Crunch.
a good old crunch bar.
Yeah,
Dude,
that's
the classic
I
Crunch
just-
bar is so good.
It's very good, but the Bunch of Crunch, and this might be a weird thing that I do. At the theater, you just reminded me. I get a Bunch of Crunch, pour it into the popcorn.
Oh,
mix it up a little bit.
that's
That
fucking
sounds
that's a
great.
pro move.
That sounds great. Actually,
You know what the biggest pro move, of course, though,
that?
is don't fucking go to the concession. Go to Walgreens or CVS
Yeah.
right before and buy the same boxed candy
Y'all are some
for
criminals,
99
man.
cents a box instead of
They
the
don't
ridiculous
care anymore,
markup.
Bless. They don't.
Shove 'em-
they-
shove-
when I was young, they cared.
Are you such
They
a
used to
fucking,
check
are you
us-
such a fucking goody two shoes that you have like guilt about that?
Oh,
It's like,
here's the
I'm
thing.
ripping off AMC because I brought my own
There was
candy.
a time like when Sicario came out, when me and my sister went to see Sicario, and she had us stop by like a burger spot. We got burgers and took them into Sicario and ate them in the theater.
that's
I
different.
felt so
ever,
guilty.
Don't ever bring in any food that smells.
Yeah, I felt so bad. I was like, I'm never doing this again.
Snacks are fine. I feel like food is a little bit.
I'm
much.
also guilty. I also feel guilty about. I don't feel guilty about ripping off the movie theaters because you know it's a
too
rip off to
expensive.
begin with. I do feel guilty about bringing in any food that might bother other people. Like anything too crunchy,
Which is fair.
noisy. Yeah,
Anything too noisy, anything that smells.
yeah, anything that smells. But you can get a hot dog at a movie theater. That kind of smells.
That's true, but I feel like there's smells that you expect. Like you expect it to smell like popcorn. at a
Do you
movie
like popcorn?
theater.
Are you a popcorn guy?
Oh, I love popcorn.
Yeah.
The more butter, the better.
That's the thing you can't see. That's where they get you because that's the biggest markup, right? Because what does it cost to make popcorn? Fucking nothing.
Yeah, but
and
it's
then they
also
charge
part-
you $10 or whatever for a big bag of it.
It's part of
But
the experience,
and they
though.
know because you can't bring that in.
Because you can't bring it in, but also my movie experience is so enhanced by popcorn that I'm almost like I'm not just paying for the popcorn, I'm paying for the experience of eating popcorn at the movie theater.
It's funny how popcorn has become so tied to the movie. Even at home, like we'll make a bag of microwave popcorn at home when we watch a movie because it just. But like I would never just eat popcorn unless it was in a movie watching context.
It depends. Like, I think if it was like a different kind of pop, like regular butter
Yeah,
popcorn,
or like you're like
sure.
caramel crunchy,
Yeah.
you know, like the stuff you get at Christmas in the big tin.
Yes.
But like popcorn out of a barrel, like Orville Redenbacher or whatever.
Yes.
Or like movie style popcorn. I would never.
You have to be watching something.
You've got to
to
be
eat
watching a movie.
1000%.
Yeah, okay, I'm glad we agree on that.
All right, let's get into video games. Remember, this is Kind of Funny Games Daily. Each and every weekday, we run you through the nerdy news you need to know about, live on YouTube, Twitch, and on podcast services around the globe. If you love what we do, support us with the Kind of Funny membership on Patreon or YouTube to get all of our shows ad-free, watch us record them live, and get a daily exclusive show.
I'm still like 5 minutes ago thinking about Barrett's thing about putting the Bunch of Crunch in the popcorn.
It's a good idea.
I'm gonna go to the movies just to do that.
This is what I want you to think about for the next
good
minute
move.
as I do the rigmarole. I want you to think about your thoughts on the cookies and cream Hershey bars.
Oh, I don't mind those so much. They're my daughter's favorite. My eldest.
Those were
she
like
loves those.
legendary to me. Whenever I would see them in the checkout aisle, it was always that thing. It was like looking at gold.
Yeah, and I actually don't mind, even though it's the same chocolate, the almond one.
Oh, like the almond-
the Hershey bar that has almonds
yeah.
in it.
Oh,
yeah.
oh my goodness.
Yeah, that's better.
Oh, those are so good.
Yeah. You and I'm glad we're on the same page
Yeah.
about this stuff. Yeah.
For a chance to be a part of the show, submit your thoughts and opinions as YouTube Super Chats as we go. Housekeeping for you. Of course, we're an 11-person business all about live talk shows. So today, after KHD, you're going to get the GAMESCAST, which is going to be our conversation about Metaphor versus Persona. That's right. Me and Barrett, we're doing a one-on-one, and we're getting to the bottom of it.
One more, and
What's
then I
that?
promise we're moving on because this is a very divisive one, and I have strong feelings about it. White chocolate.
I'm glad you asked, Gary. I love white chocolate.
Me too.
I love white chocolate,
Oh,
dude.
I'm so happy. I thought you were going to
chocolate's
go the other way.
No, I really
We're a
dig white
match.
chocolate. How do you feel about dark chocolate?
Hate it.
Hate it.
The darker the chocolate, the less I like it. I want my milk chocolate to be as milky as possible. There's like a double milk chocolate you can get from like Lindt or one of those like fancy places.
Wait, there's
that I
Lindt.
like. Lindt, you know, Lindt.
Okay.
Like a Swiss. You ever have the little?
Is there Lindt-
you
is
must
that
have had
a-
like you must have had like the Lindt truffle balls in the red wrapper.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
So they also do like candy. They also do like chocolate bars, and they have like a double. Yeah, there it is. Classic recipe. Where's the
Oh,
double
yeah, I
milk?
love these.
Yeah. But there's a double milk one, or it's extra milk, or whatever it is they call it. That's the one. That's the one that I like. He's got it. There it is. Double late.
Oh, these look delightful.
Because late is French for milk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. That's the one. See how it's actually like milky on the inside of it.
That
But
looks
no, I
good.
love white chocolate.
We
And
definitely gotta-
some people, like, no one's like, I could go either way on white. People either love it or hate it. Like,
And I
they'll be,
don't-
oh,
but
it's
I
not
don't
real
understand-
chocolate because it's got no cocoa in it. Fuck off.
Here's the thing. I don't understand how you can hate white chocolate.
Oh, it's
like, there's
so good.
nothing offensive about white chocolate when you taste it. It's good.
Oh, so good.
And we gotta put Roger, like, because Roger he's like the kind of munchies guy, right?
Uh-huh.
Like, we gotta do a whole kind of munchies
Let's
podcast.
do this. Do a
just
proper
about
kind of,
candy.
and I'll bring in some British stuff.
Yeah.
All right, we'll do it.
Of course, after GamesCast, you're going to get the stream, which is going to be some Alien Isolation with Nick Scarpino. If you're a Kind of Funny member, you can get today's Gregway, and you can get Venom The Last Dance in review this afternoon and tomorrow on YouTube and podcast services. Thank you to our Patreon producers, Delaney Twining and Carl Jacobs. Today we're brought to you by New World Eternum, Phasmophobia, Marvel Snap, and Shady Rays, but we'll tell you about that later. For now, let's begin with what is, and forever will be, the Roper Report. It's time for some news. We have 5 stories today.
A baker's dozen.
It's been a minute.
20 minutes in, we haven't done too badly.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's been a minute since it took me 20 minutes to get to story number 1, which is again why I look at the calendar, I see Gary's name, and I'm like, let's freaking go.
Time well spent.
Let's start with story number 1. Early reviews for Amazon's Yakuza series call it lackluster. I'm pulling from Jack Coleman at The Gamer. And before I even hop into it, Gary, I know you're a Yakuza person. You like the Like a Dragon games, correct?
Yes, yes and no, in the sense that my first introduction to it was Yakuza Like a Dragon, the Ichiban Kasuga one.
Yeah.
And I never really got into, what's the name of the other guy, the main guy?
Kiryu.
Kiryu.
Yeah.
I never liked him as much. But maybe because Ichiban came in first. When Kiryu shows up in Like a Dragon, like I was watching some Let's Plays and people are going, "Oh my god!" But I didn't really know what a big
you're like,
deal
who's
he
that
was
guy?
because he was the protagonist of all the games prior to that.
Have you been playing Infinite Wealth?
No, it's like constantly top because Like a Dragon. It's hard to. It's weird now because you say Like a Dragon. It's like that's what they're all technically called, right? But Yakuza Like a Dragon, the first one with Ichiban, is seriously probably my favorite game of the last 5 years. I absolutely fucking loved it. And maybe for that reason, it's taken me a while to get to Infinite Wealth, because I only want to play it when I can sit down and seriously like block off some time to play, and that hasn't happened yet. I've been playing playing games in like short bits and pieces, but like a game like that, I really want to like get in there, because I played Like a Dragon to death. I beat the true final Millennium Tower, which is like the hardest achievement in the game. I maxed out every mini game. I played the financial mini game. I played it to death.
Have you had any interest in checking out the show?
Not really, because it's Kiryu, right, is the main character. And it's I would have preferred that they made an Ichiban show. I understand why they didn't, but I think Ichiban is a much better character than Kiryu. Kiryu to me is a much more generic, kind of stoic, brooding guy with a haunted past, kind of, that strong silent type. I feel that's a bit of a trope. Ichiban to me is just a bit more of a goofball, and was more interesting, and
like he's
but
fun.
Such a good-hearted, good-natured guy, right? You can't help but like him.
Yeah.
That to me was a better introduction to the series. Plus, I enjoyed the turn-based RPG style more than the brawler
action,
style of the other games. So I don't know. I've had kind of an eye on it. It kind of felt like it came out of nowhere, right? We only knew they were even making this recently.
Yeah, they announced it like quite a few months ago. It was announced earlier this year. It's finally out today. We have the reviews here. Let's get into the article again. This is Jack Coleman at The Gamer. How can you possibly capture the unique feeling of Yakuza / Like a Dragon? It was always going to be a tall order for the showrunners of Amazon's Like a Dragon Yakuza to succinctly capture the atmosphere of a game series that's been built up over decades, with each entry permanently adding something to the series' DNA. Unfortunately, according to reviewers, Like a Dragon Yakuza fails to balance the drama of Japan's criminal underworld with the campy and absurd moments of the video games. It's the juxtaposition of seriousness and comedy that makes Yakuza so beloved, and, according to critics, the series has strayed too far from the latter. IGN describes the show as, quote, an overly long, meandering, dreary melodrama that would be ignored if not the name attached in a 4 out of 10 review. According to the site's critic, story threads come and go without any resolution before ultimately getting discarded by the time the show ends. As a positive, Kamurocho is delightfully adapted from the games. Pace Magazine called Like a Dragon Yakuza a criminally lackluster adaptation that had potential, but is so eager to jump from scene to scene that the viewer is unable to form any attachment to the large cast in its 5 out of 10 review. In a more positive 4 out of 5 review, Eurogamer said Like a Dragon Yakuza captures the anarchic spirit of the source material in its depiction of juxtaposition between bloody, no-holds-barred combat and ostentatious high culture. In the opinion of this critic, the show was a highly authentic Yakuza experience. Slant Magazine said the show is a competent but sandpapered video game adaptation in a 2.5 out of 4 review. They describe the show as a blunter and less toothy than the tamest beast in RGG Studios' distinctive menagerie. A common theme among these reviews is that it's exceptionally difficult to capture the spirit of Yakuza, and you're better off playing the games to understand these characters and their relationships. Gary, does the idea of the Yakuza TV show now being out and reviews calling it lackluster, is that surprising? What were your expectations going into this?
I don't know what I expected, because Yakuza Stroke Like a Dragon is such a interesting and different. It's such a distinct series. Like, there's nothing else. I remember the first time I ever saw clips of it going like, is this a real game? Because this is fucking ridiculous. But it is, right? And I think in the Ichiban era, it went even further into the surreal, which is what I loved about it. It feels like here they've kind of tried to, I don't know, like thread the needle a little bit and go like a little bit into it, but like it's not completely surreal.
Yeah.
Like where are the giant men in diapers? You know, like where's the really
where's the
weird,
kart racing?
Yeah, where's the really weird shit that I want to see? So like it feels like maybe it's like kind of neither one thing nor the other. I have a few thoughts on it. Mm-hmm. I think if I was, my time is so at such a premium these days. There's like a bunch of different shows I'm trying to catch up on, and I'm behind on all of them. If I were going to watch a Yakuza show, I would probably watch Tokyo Vice, which I hear is really, really good. Then I might watch this. But like, I don't know, it hasn't sold me on it. I just saw one tiny clip there, and I didn't see anything on the one sheet, on the poster. Like, it doesn't seem like there's a lot of Goro Majima, who, as we all know, is the fucking best character in all of the games.
There was like a clip from the trailer that I remember.
I just saw one tiny little clip.
But he
of him
doesn't
there.
seem like a major part.
I don't know. Maybe I don't know if they're underselling that, but like he's the heart. To me, even though he's a side character, I remember again when I was watching some Let's Plays of Like a Dragon, when Majima first shows up, and this is me not knowing the history of the series, and all the Let's Players are going, "Oh my god, it's Goro!" And I was like, "Why is everyone freaking out about this guy?" And then like 10 minutes later, you understand why, because he's the coolest fucking character.
Yeah,
and absolutely. I don't know why, but like I always like those characters the best. Like Animal is my favorite Muppet, right? What's his name from Demon Slayer, the one with the boar's head mask, Inosuke.
Oh yes, Inosuke.
And Majima, I always like the character that's just a fucking maniac, like the totally unhinged one, and that's what I love about Majima.
You just love a little bit of chaos, Gary.
Yeah, you got to have an agent of chaos in there, and I don't know if they're using him particularly well in this. If they were doing Ichiban, I'd be 100% all in.
Dude,
but I don't have the same
is
attachment to Kiryu.
And that's the tough thing is, I think because it is, this is the first season, they have to start off with Kiryu because I think
because he's the legacy. He's the character that's been around for the longest. Yeah, it makes sense.
Exactly. But like, I would hope that they get to the point where they get to build up and like end up.
Maybe there's a little tease of him at the end of this one or something.
I mean, that'd be awesome. Or if you could either have like an Ichiban get to that season or get to even a spin-off show that is, all right, here's Ichiban's like full show, we're starting from scratch and it's going to be starring him.
I mean, if this is a big hit, then obviously the sky's the limit. There was a Yakuza movie didn't Takashi Miike do a Yakuza movie at one point?
I think so. I think we talked about that.
I don't know if it was any good, but I don't know. I'll maybe check it out.
So for you, as somebody who of course writes movies and then also somebody who's into Like a Dragon, how do you think it's possible to create something that is a truly quality and like a critical hit of a Yakuza show or a Yakuza film?
I think it would be difficult to do one that is tonally true to what those games are now in all of their surreal madness.
Yeah.
Right. I think it would be difficult to do that in a way that is compatible with like the idea of like a prestige type show. I think that's why they have dialed it down, because it's like no one's going to take this seriously if we lean fully into what the games do. Like that. To look at that, there wasn't really anything in there that felt like it was completely distinct from like any other Yakuza show you might watch.
It looks like what I see
like
from
a bit more stylish, but not necessarily like what the fuck is this?
It looks what I feel like we would see a lot from video game adaptations from like back in the day, as far as let's take it and make it more serious or gritty, or like strip it of the bonker shit because it's not a video game. We're trying to make it realistic or whatever, right? And I feel like you strip out a lot of what makes it special. I'll say the same thing with like a lot of like anime to live action adaptations. Like, I'm a big Yu Yu Hakusho fan, and Yu Yu Hakusho got its live action adaptation last year, and it's just tough because if you're not gonna like keep the goofiness, if you're not gonna keep the over the top nature, if you're not gonna keep a lot of the things that make these things special,
that's what makes it distinct.
Then, like that's what makes it distinct. And so my pitch for when they first announced this was to give it to like an Edgar Wright, right? Or somebody who like I think can capture
someone who's going to lean into it.
Someone who's going to lean into the goofiness. Somebody who's going to lean into the quick style of editing that I think something like this needs, but then also somebody who's really good at action.
And the thing is, it is doable. If you look at Like a Dragon, one of the things that I admire about it so much is how well it balances and modulates such a wide variety of tones. Like it is absolutely just surreal and absurd at many points, right? But the main story, by the time you get to the end of it, like your heart bleeds for these characters. The closest I've come to crying at the end of a video game in a really long time. Like again, to me, it's a story about friendship, right, and the power of friendship. And Ichiban like is such a good-hearted, good-natured guy that's just like got caught up in the wrong kind of life. And the baby, and I don't want to spoil anything, but like the baby in the locker and the whole story, the whole central story. There's real pathos and real drama and like real hard-hitting, like emotional shit at the center of that story. And yet you can still be fighting like 10 giant guys, in an infantilization, sex fantasy clinic, right?
Yeah,
like giant guys in diapers, like babies' bottles and bonnets and stuff, and you have to beat them all up. Can that translate to live action television?
And that's why,
or can you only have surreality to that extent, like in a video game or an animated format?
And that's the tough question, because I lean towards, I think you might have to make it surreal to a point, right? Like that's why I point to Edgar Wright and something like Scott Pilgrim versus the World, where you have those fight scenes come out of nowhere,
right?
And obviously, like, it's not realistic. Like this fucking, skinny ass nerdy dude isn't gonna fucking, pull out these punches that are gonna throw somebody across the room.
Or like 100-foot high chainsaw or something. Like
there's no
indication that the show's doing any of that, right? That it's very, and again,
It
I
seems
think the
more
Kiryu
realistic,
games
yeah.
are a bit more balanced, right? Was it only in the Ichiban era that Yakuza like really fucking went off the rails? Or
I think when Like a Dragon came through, it definitely I think added a bit more of a lighthearted tone to the main stuff because Ichiban as a character is more lighthearted than Kiryu.
Right.
But I think Yakuza's always had at least side content that was goofy.
Yeah, because again, I remember
the main story was more serious, but
I
he would do
remember
goofy shit in the
seeing
side.
clips from what I didn't even know what it was at the time. It was just like random clips that would show up on social media. And it was pre-Ichiban. It was like it would have been like Yakuza 5 or 6 or whatever, whichever one it was at that point. And I remember thinking, what the fuck is this? This is like someone took acid and tried to make GTA.
Yeah.
Right? So it was already leaning heavily into the crazy stuff. And I think Ichiban just pushed it even further. But I mean, it might be a good show in its own right, but is it going to capture the true tone of the Yakuza games, which is so wild and so, all over the place?
I hope they get there where they're able to do more seasons and eventually get to the Ichiban stuff. Because so far from the reviews, I worry a little bit of, okay, well, is this going to get an audience? Are going to people actually show up and watch it? And like, if they don't, will they get greenlit for future seasons? I worry that they're not going to get there, but I think that sucks if they don't, because I do think that there's, and me not knowing like exactly where this specific story ends off, or how much of the actual game that it's adapting directly in terms of story. But I would love them to get to the Ichiban
I will
stuff.
watch the first one. I'll give it a shot.
Oh yeah, come back with your review.
Yeah, okay.
I'd love to hear what you think about it.
All right.
We're going to move on to story number 2. But before we do, I want to tell you about patreon.com/kindafunny and youtube.com/kindafunnygames, where you can get the Kinda Funny membership, which allows you to get shows ad-free. And speaking of ads, let us tell you about our sponsors.
This episode is brought to you by Phasmophobia. The genre-defining horror game is finally coming to consoles on October 29th, 2024.
What did you see? Okay, never mind, we're coming. Hello?
That's right, just in time for Halloween, the phenomenon that is Phasmophobia enters console early access on PS5, PSVR 2, and Xbox Series X/S with full cross-play supported across the platforms. Join the already almost 20 million players on Steam, including our very own Snowbike Mike, and get ready for some spine-chilling ghost hunting with up to 3 friends. Making sure you work as a team and utilize your equipment is key to making it out alive. It's almost time, Ghost Hunters. Phasmophobia is finally entering early access on PS5, PSVR 2, and Xbox Series X/S on October 29th. Wishlist now and prepare for the terrifying ghost hunts that await.
This episode is brought to you by New World Eternum. New World Eternum is a thrilling action RPG experience for console and PC players with a vibrant world, vast and beautiful setting, dynamic real-time action combat, and the freedom for players to choose how to forge their destiny. Combat is skill-based and dynamic, incorporating swords, guns, and sorcery so that you can build one character to rule them all as you explore Eternum and unravel the mysteries of the supernatural island that you can't leave. You love playing RPGs alone? You can in New World Eternum, or play cooperatively with your friends as you complete quests, get better gear, and level up. Greg played this at Summer Game Fest on PlayStation 5 and was caught off guard by how much he enjoyed it and how many hours he said he could see himself sinking into the final product. There's boss fights, cool enemies, crossplay, resource gathering, and crafting. So yeah, this sounds like a Greg game. New World Eternum is available now on PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X and S, and PC. This episode is brought to you by Marvel Snap. Y'all know Marvel Snap completely took over my life when it burst on the scene 2 years ago. I love it so much that I even mentioned it in my wedding vows, because to this day, my wife Gia is so obsessed that she has not missed a single day of completing her daily challenges. Marvel Snap is an award-winning collectible card game that combines deep strategy, a unique snapping mechanic, and your favorite Marvel characters, with thousands of unique card art variants created by renowned artists to collect and use. Each game only takes about 3 minutes, so you can get in and out wherever you are. And with more than 270 cards in Marvel Snap with over 2,000 unique art variants, you'll always find some new fun. Marvel Snap just celebrated their 2nd anniversary, and to say thank you, they're throwing a party. Boosters, credits, variants, borders, and more are all up for grabs just by logging in daily, starting on their anniversary, October 18th. Download the Marvel Snap app now, available on the App Store, Google Play, and Steam, or visit marvelsnap.com to learn more. This episode is brought to you by Shady Rays. Get ready for the season ahead with quality shades built to last. Our friends at Shady Rays have you covered with premium, polarized shades that won't break the bank. Shady Rays is an independent sunglasses company that offers an unrivaled product that's just as good as any expensive pair that we've worn. Y'all know I've been outside in the sun a lot playing Pokemon Go, and it's such a great experience wearing Shady Rays when I am out and about looking dope. Every pair of sunglasses is backed by lost or broken replacements. If you lose or break your pair, even on day one, they told us they will send you a brand new pair. No questions asked. Exclusively for y'all, Shady Rays is giving out their best deal. Head to shadyrays.com and use code KINDOFFUNNY for 50% off 2 or more pairs of shades. Try for yourself the shades rated 5 stars by over 300,000 people. Again, shadyrays.com, use code KINDOFFUNNY for 50% off 2 or more pairs of shades.
And we're back. And Gary, we have a lot to talk about. First up, I want to bring in some super chats. CJ Splitson writes in and says, "Is Twix candy? Are we? I feel like it's a candy bar."
Yeah, of course it's candy, but I don't.
Yeah.
I don't really subscribe to these. Like, can you call it this or that? Like, who cares?
Yeah,
Like,
I think chocolate. I would say chocolate. Counts as
let me
candy.
ask you something. What aisle do you find Twix in?
The candy aisle.
There you go.
Yeah. Mara writes in and says, Butterfinger peanut butter cups were discontinued in 2020 and the world is so much worse off as
Oh, they
a
don't
result.
make them anymore? They were good.
That was definitely the worst thing that happened in 2020. Alex Frazier writes in, I got a laugh from Barrett. Alex Frazier writes in and says, Gary got to include wine gums and fruit pastils.
Fruit pastils, yeah.
Fruit pastils. What's a fruit pastel?
I don't think what the American equivalent would be. It's kind of like a sugar coated, chewy, gummy candy. I'll bring some stuff in for you. They're not my favorite.
We got another one from Robert Gamberg who says, Gary, I have to shout out your recent video, a few words about the 2024 election.
Oh god, I went on a whole run.
It was brilliant and so eloquently stated. If I could make it go viral, I would. Everyone, please go vote.
Please go vote.
Gary, we had some breaking news, and this is fun. Jordan Midler literally DM'd me on Twitter. One of his news stories. That
Still
was
on Twitter, huh?
Still, I check it. I don't post on it.
Okay.
Because I need it for work. That's the thing, is it makes my job way easier. Threads and Blue Sky doesn't have like the same kind of news dissemination yet, but we'll get there.
All right.
Tales of Kenzera Zal dev Surgent Studios is making an Afro-Gothic RPG inspired by Planescape Torment. This is from Jordan Midler at Video Games Chronicle. Tales of Kenzera Zal developer Surgent Studios is making what it calls an Afro-Gothic RPG inspired by Planescape Torment and is looking for a funding partner to bring it to life. Speaking to VGC, studio head Abu Salim showed a pitch for the game, for which the studio is currently seeking funding. The game, codenamed Project Uso, is an isometric RPG. Quote, it's still in the Tales of Kenzera universe, but it's darker, it's more visceral, it's gritty, Salim told us. The best way I can describe it, it is a single-player isometric Afro-Gothic action RPG. The story with Zal is that as a shaman, you're challenging the god of death as a way of looking at the idea of healthy handling grief. So I came up with the idea of what if one reader is inspired to defy death itself. So they create this android which is fashioned to cradle the spirits of the dead. End quote. Quote, and what if that spirit isn't a human being, it's a god, Eshu, the god of chaos. So now you've got these two mentalities in one frame. That's something I thought would be really cool to explore. Salim tells us that he envisions the game being similar in price to Tales of Kenzera Zal. Interesting stuff here. Gary, did you ever get to check out Tales of Kenzera Zal?
No, I was just about to ask you. I've never heard of it.
It's the one you might have recognized. I don't know if were you at Game Awards last year, or did you watch the Game Awards last year?
Game Awards? No, I've never been to the Game Awards.
Oh, really?
No.
That actually surprises me.
No, because I refuse to put money in Jeff Keighley's pocket.
That's fair.
And personally, paying for a ticket is something that normals do.
I feel you.
I should be invited as an elder statesman of the video game industry. I should be invited.
Jeff
Red
Keighley.
carpet treatment.
This is Gary Wood.
He's never going to do it.
Treat this man the way he should be treated. Get him to the Game Awards. Get him the red carpet.
I should be presenting at the Game Awards. Frankly,
listen.
Have you seen me present awards? I'm fucking great at it.
Gary, I'll
Check out my dice awards, my golden joysticks. I fucking nail it.
I
every
want this
time.
for you. In fact, if I could be as blessed as to share the stage with you, because I would love to share.
Oh,
an award
you and
with-
me
alongside-
together as a hosting.
be a dynamic
oh,
pairing for the Game Awards.
Incredible.
So Tales of Kenzera Zao was revealed there. It was an EA original game. It was a Metroidvania. You might recognize it as you look at footage of it, right? Like it is an indie game, and it has like a lot of African like culture influence to it, right?
Okay, cool.
Like African mythology specifically. It came out earlier this year. It was from Abu Bakar Salim, his new studio, Surgent Studios.
Right.
And he's been like a voice actor and plenty of stuff. He's been an actor in plenty of things actually. He was in the new Game of Thrones thing.
Oh, cool.
He was in Assassin's Creed.
I like the art style.
Yeah.
He was the protagonist in Assassin's Creed Origins, Gary. If you ever played.
Oh,
Origins.
okay.
Yeah. And so this game came out earlier in the year. Recently, it was announced that they're I forget if it was layoffs or if it was just I think the layoffs may have came earlier, but they recently started announcing that like they're looking for funding for their next game. And so
Right.
what they're talking about here is their next thing, which sounds really cool, like the top-down or isometric action RPG that's taking place in the same world.
No, it looks good.
Yeah, taking influence. I'm not a Planescape Torment person, so I don't know much about it. I don't know if you're into Planescape.
No, I know that I do know that game was very well liked.
But yeah, I'm down for this. I hope they see it. My thing with it is that one, I love Abu. He's a really cool dude. But then also, I love seeing games take influences from places that you don't see as many influences from. And so for the fact that he's specifically, taking African culture, taking African mythology, and is going, how do I?
Yeah, we need more of that. We need more
reflect this?
different perspectives and better, not to sound like too woke, but like better representation and all that stuff. They should try if they're looking for money, they should consider maybe like crowdfunding it. They'd probably do well on Kickstarter or something.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I hope whatever they're able to do to get funding, I hope they're able to do it. Because yeah, I want to see more from this world. Tales of Kenzera, I played it. I liked it, fine. It wasn't my favorite, but I think part of that is just the Metroidvania aspect of it.
We need someone like Tyler Perry to come in with his infinite wealth and just say, have some money or start up a game studio or do something,
That'd be sick if you had some like people with power and influence and money come over and be like, hey, let's make something that is very like a specific.
I think that would be the greatest thing about being super rich. Like that's one of the things that annoys me most about Musk is, he spends all his money on all this, wastes it on all this stupid shit. Whereas like you can have, if you had billions, I wouldn't, I mean, I probably would get myself a nice yacht, but like beyond that, I would be on my yacht and I would be on the internet looking at shit like that and going, that looks cool. Just give them fucking Jeeves, send them $5 million. Just make shit happen for people. That would be fucking great. I would love that.
Let's make it happen. Let's move on to story number 2. Yooka-Replaylee is coming to PS5, Xbox Series X, and Nintendo platforms. This is Chris Scullion at Video Games Chronicle. Yooka-Replaylee will be coming to consoles as well as its previously confirmed PC version, developer Platonic says. According to the studio, the game will be released on PS5, Xbox, and Nintendo platforms, implying a version will be coming to both the Switch and its as-yet unannounced successor. Platonic is not yet ready to announce the game's release date, however, saying, quote, experience the definitive version of Yooka and Laylee's very first adventure on a platform of your choice when the game launches, ... Wait, too soon for that, end quote. A new trailer has also been released to mark the announcement, showing off the changes made to the Tribal Stack Tropics and Glitter Glaze Glacier stages, as well as a look at some of the game's new characters and visual overhauls that made it to the UI, or that they made to the UI and HUD. Quote, those with sharp ears will also notice the very first taste of the orchestral soundtrack, Platonic says. I'm excited about this. I never played the original Yooka-Laylee, but I love the Impossible Lair.
I didn't either. These I mean, it's I'm getting kind of Crash Bandicoot vibes.
Well, it was made to be like a Banjo-Kazooie.
Okay.
Successor.
It's never been my kind of thing. This aesthetic, this type of game. The most recent Ratchet and Clank, which I thought was a masterpiece. That aside, I've never really been into this aesthetic or this type of game. But I do know that I do know that Yooka-Laylee is very popular. And
did you play Astrobot?
No, it's on the backlog. It's in the list.
You would like Astrobot.
Oh, I'm sure I will. It's going to get played before the end of the year. Like I said, we were saying during the break, too many fucking games and not enough time. I think the title feels like a bit too clever for its own good. It doesn't even roll off the tongue, does it? Yooka-Replaylee.
It doesn't roll off the tongue. And my thing is, when you're putting out like remasters or whatever, like I get it, like cool, let's have fun, let's do whatever. But my thing is, years from now, when
Yeah.
people are like, "Oh, I want to buy ukulele," they're gonna go on the store shelf.
Yeah.
It's gonna say Yooka-Replaylee.
And even just right now, I feel like it has the potential to just confuse people, right?
Yeah.
Just call it ukulele.
just call
remastered.
it ukulele remastered. Just call it ukulele.
or re-ukulele or something, where you can have a bit of cleverness, but like don't mess with the actual title of the game.
Yeah. Very corny.
What is worse, Yooka-Replaylee or remastered?
Remastered is less creative, but I hate saying Replaylee. Replaylee is hard to say for me for some reason. But yeah, I really hope I'm able to find time to play this because again, it came out. It was like 2017, so it was a busy year. I wasn't able to get around to it, but I forget when I played Banjo. I played Banjo super late, but I have a hankering right now for that kind of game.
It's weird. It's weird to me to mess. I think it might be the first. I may be wrong, but this feels like the first remastered game to actually mess with the title of the game. So like Horizon Zero Dawn, they just did the remaster. It's not called like Horizon Zero Glow Up.
No,
right? They kept
here's
it.
the thing.
They kept the title of the game.
There was a year where I swear to God they announced like 5 different remasters that all fucked with the title.
Oh, really?
It was a trend for a second.
I'm trying to think of some other ones.
Remastered was one of them.
Okay. Well, no, as an addendum to the title, yeah, but not changing the actual title of the game.
Oh, I see what you're saying. What was the one? Wasn't there like a Darksiders thing? But I guess they didn't change Darksiders. They just like called it some dumb. It was like Darksiders fucking Raised from Hell or some shit like that. I don't remember what it was called.
It's weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're not good for their SEO.
I 1000% agree with that. Definitive edition. Thank you, chat.
And again, that's fine. Have fun with it in the bit that you add on, but don't change the actual title of the game.
Story number 3. Let's talk about Helldivers 2. Helldivers 2 Xbox port requires both partners to agree on something, reveals Arrowhead. This is Callum Smith at Video Gamer. Helldivers 2 is one of the best games of the year. It's been a huge success for Arrowhead, and it has also been a success for Sony on PlayStation and PC. Understandably, there are calls for the game to land on Xbox consoles. While nothing is guaranteed, Arrowhead has explained what is needed for Helldivers 2 to release on Xbox Series X and S. It's not happening for the foreseeable future, but Arrowhead has stated that it is not impossible. On the Helldivers Discord, there are calls for Helldivers 2 to come to Xbox on almost a daily basis. While a lot of people on Microsoft's console want to be able to experience Arrowhead's multiplayer epic, there are also people on PC and PlayStation who want to be able to play with friends who own an Xbox. Arrowhead community manager Twinbeard has just responded to a user asking if it's impossible for Helldivers 2 to come to Xbox. The community manager provided the following response, quote, "Who says it couldn't? It's not up to us, but to Sony and Phil to duke it out. It's not up to us, but to Sony and Phil to duke out. But hypothetically speaking, if both partners think it would benefit them from a financial/brand standpoint, it could. If Sony believes it won't, though, it won't." End quote. Gary, I know you're somebody. Obviously, you fucking love Helldivers 2.
When you're talking Helldivers 2, you're always speaking my language.
How
coming up on
badly-
1,000 hours played.
1,000 hours is
Level 144
crazy.
10-star general, so pretty close to the cap.
And that's in like 9 months, Gary.
Yeah, it's nutty.
That's impressive.
I think only World of Warcraft could challenge it for like the most hours I've ever spent in a game. I fucking love that game.
How badly do you want it to come to Xbox?
I mean, it wouldn't make much difference to me because I play on PC. It's my preferred format.
Mm-hmm.
It would be nice to, obviously, it would, because it's cross-play, because I play with PlayStation people all the time. The cross-play works really well. It would be nice to have, an even bigger, player pool overall. And just, I don't really like it when games, I understand why, like, Mario is exclusive to Nintendo and Halo's exclusive to Xbox, and whatever Sony has is exclusive to them. Because those first-party titles. But once you get into the third-party stuff, like, I don't like the Spider-Man games are only on PlayStation. And I think Xbox, in acquiring Bethesda and Activision and everything else, been quite magnanimous. They're not doing it to be gracious. They're doing it to make money. But they've said a lot of these games, Indiana Jones or whatever, these third-party titles that we now own and control, will be coming to PlayStation, right? Yeah. So let's have a little bit of love in the other direction. It is PlayStation Studios, but it's a third-party developer, right? There's clearly money to be made selling it to. You would sell a shitload of.
That's my thing. Is I think financially it makes sense to put Helldivers 2 wherever you can put it, including Xbox.
Of course.
If you can put it on Switch, also put it on Switch.
Well, maybe the next Nintendo platform, whatever that is, will actually be able to run it. I don't think a Switch could run Helldivers 2. Certainly not acceptably well. But no, like more games for more people. That's the mantra, right? That's what we want.
That's the thing is, I think that for me there are multiple tiers of looking at it. For me, as like a audience or as like a player of video games or a fan or whatever you want to call me, right? For me, as somebody who does not work for any of these companies, I'm like, man, it'd be great if everything was on everything. Let me play fucking Mario on my PC. Let me play fucking Spider-Man on my Xbox. Like, that would be the dream world for all of us to live in, to be able to access all games everywhere. Obviously, that's not the reality we live in. We live in because of business. But then on the business tier of looking at things, I think it makes sense where it makes sense, right? Like, I think a Helldivers 2 could make money on Xbox and also widen the player base, and like that's the kind of game that you want that to happen.
People have been clamoring for Helldivers 2 on Xbox like literally since day one. I mean, I've seen all the memes. You know, there's a lot of people are waiting for it. And I think, you know, the player base has settled down a bit. It doesn't have the numbers that it did when it launched, although it's still, you know, hugely popular. All I care about is when I press quick play, am I going to get matched into a game very quickly? And the answer is always yes. Like within 5 seconds, I'm in a squad. Or if I start a game, like it fills up almost immediately. So like, to me, it doesn't matter if there's 1 million or 2 million or 10 million people playing, however many it may be, like, can I get a game? Yes. And Xbox, again, just bringing in a massive influx of players would obviously help with that. And again, like Xbox players should have, why can't they have access to this game?
Yeah, I think the Helldivers 2 is inevitable. I think
it will come to Xbox. I think
it doesn't look like it's soon, obviously, because he said like they had the quote here that said that it wasn't. I forget where they said it, but they said something. They implied here that it wasn't happening soon, right? But like, I do think that inevitably we're going to get.
But they're right.
It's the kind of game that makes sense.
The two sides have to come together and make it make sense for each other. Because like, as much as I talk about, you know, magnanimity and graciousness and more games for more people, all that kumbaya bullshit, that's not really what's driving these companies right at the top level. The only decision is this good for our business? Can we make money doing it? Right? And I'm no expert on the business side of it, but I kind of feel like you'd have to be pretty stupid to not figure out a way to make money, bring in a title that popular, a genuine Game of the Year contender, certainly my Game of the Year, right? A game that is really, really well liked, that would work great on Xbox. I feel like there's got to be a business case for it, right? There's got to be a way to do it.
I think so too, and like I think there's a bigger conversation about just like exclusivity in general, because I think getting a game like Spider-Man on an Xbox feels so far away. That's not me making a transition. That's me literally saying it feels like such a far away idea, but I think it could be really neat. Like, I think being like, hey, we see how much Spider-Man sells, period. It's one of the PlayStation's best-selling games because Spider-Man's a huge IP. If you could get like another 5 million sales or something like that off of Xbox, maybe there's a way to weigh it.
And this is why, not to get into a format war thing, but like if you can justify the expense or are willing to put the time into building your own gaming PC or you can get a decent games PC now. This came up a lot, right, recently in the PlayStation Pro conversation. Like, can you get a gaming PC that is as powerful as a PlayStation Pro for around the same price? And there was a lot of different takes on it. Yes, you can. No, you can't. Whatever. I don't have an opinion on it. But like, if you can spring for a gaming PC, that is the best possible way to insulate yourself from all of this, right? Because most Sony games eventually will come to PC, and all of the big Microsoft games come to PC.
It's only taken now a year and a half for Spider-Man 2.
As a PC gamer, you miss out on the least games. Yeah, I think that's hard to argue with, right?
Yeah, unless you're a person that's like, I need everything day and date. Like, if you can wait, then PC is a fucking wonderful platform.
Yeah, because on some things, like, you know, who knows how long PC gamers will be waiting for GTA 6, for example, right? Probably a long time.
A very long time,
so
probably.
If you've got to have it day and date still.
That's like the big argument against it, honestly, is like, if you want to only play on PC, which I feel like, plenty of PC people
because the Sony stuff is the only stuff that's day and date is Microsoft, right? Because obviously they're in the PC business. All that stuff generally tends to hit PC same day. Sony, whether it's Death Stranding or Last of Us or whatever, you're going to wait. Yeah. But you will eventually get it.
Gary, we got breaking news once again during the show.
I love it. I love news breaks during the show.
Yeah, I think you attract it. Like, something about you being on the show, people are like, oh, we got to get Gary in front of this news. Apparently there's a new trailer for Balatro that Barrett's added in here that neither me or Gary has seen.
Speaking of Game of the Year, it's my runner-up, Balatro.
Oh, Balatro is so good.
What a game.
It's so good. Barrett wants us to live react to this.
Okay.
And so,
all right, here we go.
Wake up, Jimbo. We have a scene. Oh my God, Cyberpunk.
Are you kidding me? Balatro Punk.
What the fuck? Binding of Isaac. Okay.
Hold on. How many franchises are they bringing? Okay. Balatro's going to the next level.
And it looks like these are getting like their own unique cards. Slay the Spire.
Slay the Spire. Okay. Another
That's
classic.
that's a pretty good partnership right there. Two card games.
This is interesting.
Yeah, this is really interesting.
Now my question is, these aren't just cosmetics, right? Like, there's going to be new cards and new jokers.
I assume maybe it's
because if it's just a reskin.
Oh, Stardew Valley.
My God, they've got all the big names.
I think because each of the decks have their own unique quality to them or property to them.
Yeah, I feel like there's got to be something that like a rule for each of these decks.
Wait, who's that fucking dude?
This is a guy from Stardew.
Okay, all right. I never played Stardew. I just know people that are really into it.
That's fucking awesome.
All right, so Cyberpunk, Binding of Isaac, Slay the Spire, and Stardew Valley. Out now. They shadow dropped it.
Oh, that's so good. Fuck.
So again, my big question is, because I think they already did this with one setting. There was already like a pack.
I believe so.
I can't remember what it was related to.
Didn't they have like another Friends of Jimbo thing?
They did.
I have no idea. They're also teasing that there is possibly still more to come as well.
Yeah, because it's Friends of Jimbo 2. There was one prior to this. I just can't remember what they added. I don't... Yeah, so if it's just cosmetic, it's not as exciting, but it's still cool.
Yeah,
but I feel like the next big update is going to be new Jokers, new, game styles, new decks. That's
people are saying Witcher was in there.
Oh, that's right. They did Witcher. That's right. Yeah.
Oh, so they did Witcher,
Among Us, Dave the Diver, Vampire Survivor.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So I mean,
is that out? My question to chat is that already out? And what did that add?
Yeah, that's already out, and that was purely cosmetic, I believe.
Okay, yeah, Barrett has.
It seems like this pack, this new Friends of Jimbo is also
right. So they're cosmetic and they're free. I think that's very exciting. I think what's going to be really exciting is at some point you're going to see paid DLC that is actually substantive. Like I said, like new decks, new Jokers, new gameplay elements.
I think you're going to get that. It sounds like maybe that might be a next year thing because they talk about big updates for coming out for Balatro.
I wonder if this is across every format, including the app. Because the big thing for Balatro was on Apple. Right now you can play it on your. That's what people were waiting for.
The trailer said mobile.
Oh, good. Now. Okay. Yeah. Apple Arcade.
Huge. Oh, is it on? It's on Apple Arcade.
It's a big win for Apple Arcade. Yeah,
man, we got to get Apple Arcade out there more because, I feel like people don't talk about it as much.
Apple, and I say that as an Android user. Apple fucking fanboy, but Apple Arcade is the most slept-on deal outside of Game Pass. Is the best deal in gaming. And you can get it as part of a bigger subscription with your iCloud and all your other shit. But even if you just buy Apple Arcade, $5 a month, and all the games are fucking really good and really well curated. You're guaranteed no microtransactions or ads or anything else. There's some really fucking solid games on Apple Arcade.
I know we're talking about putting Helldivers 2 on Xbox and putting all these games everywhere. Put Apple Arcade on my Android phone. Let's have a conversation. Let me play Apple Arcade on my Galaxy.
The other thing that's really slept on is that all these games, everything on Apple Arcade also works on Apple TV, right, with a Bluetooth controller. I was in an Apple store the other day and someone was playing whatever the latest NBA 2K is. I'm like, why are they playing console games in here? I went over there. It was the fucking Apple TV version.
That's pretty neat.
And it looks almost as good as, a dedicated console version. And
Do you have an Apple TV?
I have Apple TVs all over the house. I love it.
Really? I didn't know people actually bought these things.
Oh, no, I mean, it's probably it's certainly the best. And I imagine Chromecast might be even bigger, but they're really popular. And again, what I think people don't get is that certainly the latest version of the Apple TV, plug a Bluetooth controller into that. It's honestly a very... Pay whatever you pay for an Apple TV.
Apple TV is just like it's like a
little hockey puck.
Oh, it's like a Roku type situation.
It looks like this. It's got all your streaming apps, but it also plays the fucking Apple Arcade games. And some of the games look like fucking current generation console games. People don't get that there's a really capable gaming machine in there.
That's pretty neat. Actually.
I don't know why they don't market it more.
I think my sister has an Apple TV. For some reason, I don't know what happened in my brain. As you were talking about Apple TV, I was assuming that Apple was manufacturing TVs.
I think they were looking at that for a while, but the Apple TV is, I think, by far the best streaming device, and the gaming stuff. Apple needs to do a better job of marketing that.
Better than my Prime stick or whatever it's called, my fucking Amazon Fire Stick.
Not even close.
I don't like that Fire Stick. I'll be honest.
Maybe I'll get you an Apple TV for Christmas.
It's not that I'm anti-Apple. It's just that I don't want to. I feel like getting an Apple device, any sort of Apple device, will be like a gateway drug.
Oh, it will.
To where it's like,
that's
now I gotta get the watch.
I'm fucking trapped in.
Now
I
I gotta
can
get
never
the phone.
leave. They could bring out an Android phone that is the absolute best fucking thing you've ever seen, and I still wouldn't be able to go over to it because I'm so ingrained in the Apple ecosystem at this point. They've got me. I'm just trapped.
If chat or you or whoever can sell me on getting an Apple TV and not having to get any other Apple thing, I'll do it. But I don't want to go down that dark path. It's such a different device than everything else, right? It's just its own little thing. Mm-hmm. Get the Apple Arcade subscription for it, and don't forget. Do you have an iPhone or an Android phone? Android.
Okay. So it would just be for Apple TV for you. But like even then, whatever, I can't remember how much an Apple TV is, like $150 or whatever, and then $5 a month for Apple Arcade. Plug in, pair whatever Bluetooth controller you've already got around the house. It works brilliantly with PlayStation and Xbox controllers, and you could live a very healthy video gaming diet off that alone. I'm quite serious.
Yeah, but then like next thing you know, I buy an Apple Watch, and
I don't know. Maybe
all of a sudden would that
be the worst thing?
All of a sudden, my idol is Steve Jobs. It's like I don't want to become that guy.
Yeah, you're gonna turn into me.
That's what I'm saying. Here's my problem with my fucking Fire Stick is that I'm not gonna say the name of the voice assistant because I don't want to activate people. But like every single time I say, I'll say
Alexa.
Damn
Alexa.
He said it.
Alexa.
I'm sorry.
Hey
everybody.
Siri. Let's see how many people I can fuck with right now. Hey Siri.
No, everybody's like, God
hey
damn it,
Siri.
Gray.
Alexa.
Oh no.
Bixby. Does anyone use that piece of shit?
Oh, dude. Okay, here's the thing. I talked about Bixby a while ago, and nobody knew what the fuck I was talking about.
Yeah, because it's shit.
Forever, my phone had Bixby on it, and I was like, "Who the fuck is Bixby?" Like nobody's gives a fuck about Bixby. Everybody's talking about Siri and these other guys.
I'm addicted to the ChatGPT advanced voice assistant
on Bixby on what?
I have the ChatGPT app on my phone, and I pay for the super premium service to get the advanced voice chat. It's with all the caveats that AI is dangerous and weird, and there's all kinds of negatives to it. It's really genuinely impressive.
My thing with Alexa is that for some reason Alexa never understands shit of what I'm saying regarding my TV. Hey Alexa, play Dragon Ball Super on Hulu. Nothing. She's like, oh, what's Hulu? And I'm like, you know what Hulu is? I have it downloaded on my Fire Stick.
You know what's also shit, to be honest? Siri.
Yeah.
Siri is garbage. Maybe this new generation that they're going to launch, with Apple AI or whatever, is going to be better. But like Siri is fuck. I shout it honestly. Generally, if you hear me say the word Siri, if you had like a catalog of all the times I've said the word Siri in the last year, more than 50% of the time it's going to be attached to the words "fuck you." Or go fuck yourself or something like that, because it gets shit wrong all the time.
We gotta just shut him down. We gotta go back in time and just like stop these voice assistants from being made. Because I feel like my life was better without them.
You want to do like the reverse Terminator?
Yeah.
Where you go back in time to destroy the
Skynet.
AI.
Yeah, exactly. I'm tired of these machines.
Yeah.
We got some quick Ubisoft updates for you in story number 4. Let's start off with talking about how Ubisoft has confirmed reports about Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown team. I'm pulling from Soki McAvoy at GamesIndustry.biz. Ubisoft has responded to reports of the team's disbanding via a statement sent to Eurogamer. The Lost Crown's senior producer, Abdelhak Elges, confirmed most of the team who worked on the game had been moved to other projects, adding, quote, "We know players have a love for this brand, and Ubisoft is excited to bring more Prince of Persia experiences in the future," end quote. This is, of course, coming off of earlier episodes of KFGD where we talked about reports about the Prince of Persia team disbanding, being put on other projects.
What a shitty piece of news that was. They made a really good game, right? And because it slightly underperforms, they disband the whole fucking team.
It's the thing of like, we can't have anything nice.
It's really like being a game developer these days. You can do your job, do everything you're asked to do, right? Which is deliver a really good game, and you still get the fucking sack.
You can make one of the best games of the year, and it doesn't mean shit. Like we saw what happened with Hi-Fi Rush last year.
How did we get there?
I mean,
how do we arrive at that point?
The economy, probably Donald Trump fucking things up along the way. Like,
yeah, just blame it on Trump.
I mean, naturally everything gets there at some point. It's capitalism and Donald Trump. Speaking of Ubisoft, though, we got another story about him. Ubisoft has started an exploration phase on the Rayman brand. This is Tom Ivan at Video Games Chronicle.
I'm just going to switch off for this next one.
Ubisoft has said it's exploring bringing back the Rayman series. The company told Kotaku that a Rayman project is in its early stages at its Montpellier and Milan studios. It also confirmed that Rayman and Beyond Good and Evil creator Michel Ancel, who left the company in 2020, is consulting on it. Quote, "We're pleased to confirm Ubisoft Montpellier and Ubisoft Milan have recently started an exploration phase on the Rayman brand," said a spokesperson for Ubisoft. "The project is still in its early stages, and we will share more details later." As creator of the Rayman brand, Michel Ancel is being consulted to ensure consistency within the universe they added. Again, there's another one coming off of the story from I think yesterday, where they talked about reports about this happening, and so cool to see Rayman is still active. I know there's
not.
No.
Why would you say that?
The Rayman.
Do you think Rayman is cool?
I think people think Rayman is cool. Or at least the previous.
I'm people.
Oh, you don't like
Barrett,
Rayman?
do you think Rayman is cool?
Yeah, I think he's cool.
The fuck is wrong with you people?
You don't like Rayman?
What's wrong
No.
with Rayman?
The last few, like the Rayman UbiArt games?
Do you like Rabbids?
No.
No.
Rabbids is
Okay,
where
okay.
I draw
At
the
least
line
we
at
agree on
Rabbids.
that. Okay.
Because here's the thing, Gary, is that like Rayman didn't always exist with the Rabbids. Rabbids slowly took over Rayman, took over the brand, and then became their own brand, and then partnered with Mario, which was impressively a good game. Rayman is his own dude, and that dude, he's cool.
Wait, so you have a Rayman?
Is there lore?
to
See,
Rayman?
that I don't fucking remember. I would assume so.
I'll be honest.
He feels very poochy to me.
I played the Rayman mobile game that came out forever ago. And I was like, this shit rocks. And I don't even like mobile games like that. But like, there's a Rayman game that's basically based off of like Legends and Origins or whatever. That's a mobile, like it was like on my Android forever ago. And that shit was fun as hell.
What is this that we're looking at right now?
Yeah, what is this?
This is Rayman Origins.
Is this like the most recent Rayman game?
Yeah, it's been a while. There was Origins and I believe Rayman Legends that came out pretty close together. And I remember them both being like really, really fun.
People really like these games.
Yeah, I mean, he's the one that like none of these pieces are connected, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Look, he's got no arms, but it's cool.
This gives off such fucking 90s Sega Genesis cool spot.
But isn't that what we
Fucking
want?
Green Man kind of vibes, It's just like, hey, look how
And you know-
cool he is.
Gary, isn't
now
that
with
your
10% more attitude.
Isn't that your era, Gary?
Yeah, but like because I was around in the era, I remember how fucking shitty it was, and this just feels like back to the 90s. I don't like it.
I mean, coming off of us talking about them disbanding the Prince of Persia team, it is a like,
Right?
Oh, really? We're gonna stop that to like?
Yeah, it's like, oh yeah, and in other news, Rayman. Can you
In other
imagine
news,
that?
Rayman's coming back.
You just made a really fucking great Prince of Persia game, which is a legit series. That is an actual classic. You make a really good one that even John Carpenter is out there going, this game fucking slaps.
yeah.
You're sacked. Oh, and by the way, we're bringing back Rayman. That's like adding insult to injury. That is rubbing salt in the wound.
But I'll say people do like Rayman. At least they like.
I think
the
that's
last
a very,
few Rayman
very
games,
reductive, broad-based statement that has no scientific basis whatsoever.
I'm talking about critical reception. Those games reviewed very well. And I feel like whenever I'm reading like the top 10 platformer, like top 10 2D platformer lists, there's a good chance you're gonna find those Rayman games on there. Very good chance.
Maybe it's just me.
Rayman Legends 92 on Metacritic.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure they're well-designed platform games. I'm just saying I think the character and the vibe and the aesthetic sucks.
I understand that. Honestly, I do understand that. It is very 90s in a way where Rayman
Look, the
has
90s
a lot.
has still got a lot to answer for. You weren't around in the 90s, bless him.
I was born in 94.
Yeah, okay. So
But I wasn't.
you were 6
aware.
years old when the 90s ended. You
Yes.
barely have any actual memory of it.
That's
I was
fair.
in the thick of it. I was the editor of a video game magazine in the fucking 90s. I was in the 90s
Damn.
trenches. I had to see all of that shit. Like when it was happening at the time, it was not cool.
Fair enough. I guess you are the authority on this. I can't argue with that. And then one more for the Ubisoft stories. Fozzie Mesmar becomes the creative director for Beyond Good and Evil 2. This is Marie de la Sandry at GameStudios.biz. Fozzie Mesmar has joined Ubisoft Montpellier's Beyond Good and Evil 2 team as a creative director, he announced on LinkedIn. Mesmar, a veteran designer who has been working in games since 2003, has been at Ubisoft for the past 3 years. Previously...
Sorry, I just got to give a shout out to Jimmy J saying you can't listen to a fool wearing a Harris Waltz shirt, and he misspelled shirt. That fucking tells you everything you need to know right there.
How do you misspell shirt?
How fucking stupid do you have to be to not know how to spell shirt?
Grow up.
Fucking idiot.
Embarrassing.
Previously as Vice President of Global Creative, working across titles including Mario plus Rabbids, Sparks of Hope, Star Wars Outlaws, and Beyond Good and Evil's 20th Anniversary Edition. Mesmar is replacing creative director Emile Morel, who passed away last year. The Beyond Good and Evil stuff has been interesting because it seems like they've been picking up steam on
Now, there's a
working on it
positive
again.
side to the 90s. And the 90s wasn't all bad,
Beyond Good and Evil was not the 90s.
wasn't it?
No, that was like 2000. Barry, you're probably better. That's
Why
like
am I
I feel like that was
Beyond-
GameCube.
wasn't that a
Beyond-
PS2 game? Yeah, or like a
yeah,
GameCube
Beyond
era.
Good and
When
Evil.
did Beyond Good and Evil come out? The first one.
I'm gonna guess
2004.
Come on,
2004.
Google. I'm not looking up the fucking book.
1886. It's even older than I thought.
Wait,
Fucking hell, what was that? What did you play that on? That must have been Master System, 1886.
Prelude to a Philosophy.
Or the SG, what was it? The SG 1000? What was the
2003,
system
November
before the
11th.
Master System?
Oh, I don't know. You would know that, Gary.
Yeah, no, that's trivia you should know.
SG 1000, yeah. Or something, it's
There you
something
go.
like that.
SG 1000. Barry, did you know that was a thing?
Absolutely not.
The SG 1000.
That's when consoles had names like that.
Wait, what'd you play on that? Pong?
Well, I never had one. I had an Atari
Oh.
2600.
Oh,
Again,
hell yeah.
similar naming convention.
God.
Yeah.
Man, I wish I was around for that.
For what? Those days?
Yeah. I don't know. There's something I feel like
It's fu- it's
I feel like
funny-
to be like, oh man, I was there during the glory days.
I think it's really interesting. Again, fuck it. I am going to go on an old man rant. I think
for
it's
it.
really interesting to see younger generations. And I honestly don't mean good or bad. Like you're not entitled to appreciate these games. Of course you are. But like it's interesting to see generations of gamers like yourself who weren't around for the Atari 2600 appreciating them in a retro. I think it's good that you appreciate. It's like I wasn't around when the fucking Beatles were huge, right? But
Wait.
I love the Beatles.
Were you not?
No, the Beatles are the 60s, dude.
Oh. I don't know. I
Damn, how old do you think Gary
let me-
is?
I know.
let me make it easy, let me make
It's
it
more
easy.
more so a question of
Let me
how
make it
recently did
easier
I think
for
the
you.
Beatles were.
I like Mozart.
Oh, okay.
It was
No, that makes sense.
significantly before my time. Doesn't mean I can't appreciate it. I just think it's interesting. Like to me, I view it through a different lens. Like I remember these games first time around, and I've said it before. Like I think nostalgia is a very dangerous thing. Like I often say, nostalgia ain't what it used to be. Like it's very, very hard to go back and when I go back and, for example, look at the Atari 2600 or the first PlayStation or the Nintendo 64. I really struggle to. Those games to me are not playable because I appreciate just how poorly they've aged from when they were first around. If you came up after those systems, you're appreciating them in kind of a historical context, but not a personal. Do you know what I mean? It's a different.
that.
It's a different vibe.
Yeah.
It's not nostalgia as such because nostalgia
like,
is trying to recapture a feeling. You
for
can't
me-
recapture a feeling you never had.
For me, it's a little bit like the Looney Tunes, right? Where like when I was a kid, Looney Tunes was still playing on television all the time, and
Right.
I just didn't have the context for.
Yeah, because those things never actually go away.
Yeah,
Right.
And I think for me, it's a little bit of that where as a kid, I played a lot of like fucking Pac-Man or like Mario on the
Yeah.
NES, and like played Pong.
Yeah,
But
I'm in any ways, I'm not trying to gatekeep this and saying you can't appreciate those games. You absolutely should, and you should. Like, if you want to like present yourself or think of yourself as like a gamer, you should have that historical perspective. You should
Yeah.
know about those old games.
But I think it's the test, or not the test. I think it's the proof of some things are timeless, right? I think you're right as far as the amount of things that haven't aged well from their time, right? Like, you ask me 3 games on the Atari 2600, I'm gonna start to struggle, right? But like, I can tell you
the
about the
Atari,
classics.
more than any other system. I mean, there are others that are that old, but like of the major systems, when you go that far back, the Atari 2600, I would challenge anyone to tell me that those games in today you could pick up
man.
and actually enjoy.
I'm gonna tell you,
an
they're
Atari
not
20.
good.
You cannot. You
They're
cannot.
not good.
And I honestly don't know how we thought with those games were acceptable out there. It's only because that's what there was.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
You go, okay, this. Oh,
Like,
I
you
can,
had- you had that.
I pressed the and it moves on the screen. Like when that was a novelty, that was good enough.
It was either playing that or Ball and Cup. Like those were the 2
Right?
games y'all had. Or
That's
not
all,
y'all,
that's
but
all
like,
it was.
Yeah.
And the one thing I will say about being an old person that I do appreciate, there are some benefits, very few, but there are some benefits to it, is that having been around from the very beginning, I was born the same year that Pong was invented, right? And
pretty cool.
so I had a 2600. It was there from pretty much the beginning of games.
Yeah.
Right.
Which
That
is
when I
really
play
cool to be able
when
to
I
say.
when I play games today, every now and again, my wife would tell you this. Every now and again, like I'll just stop for a moment and appreciate how far we've come. Because I remember playing Atari 2600 games, and now I'm playing. What am I playing like at the moment? Whether it be Helldivers or Metaphor or fucking Horizon Zero Dawn or Yakuza or any of like the modern games that are incredible. And I said my mom and I go, this is fucking like when you think about what I played when I was a kid compared to
dude.
this, how far we've come. It's unbelievable.
Even from-
and that appreciation, I think, is something that only comes from having fucking been around long enough.
I know it's probably fucking insane for you because even for me, it's still bonkers, right?
Right.
Of like when I was young, my first console was the N64. And like
Right.
even going from, I know it's like still 3D or whatever, which is a bigger jump than playing like on Atari, but going from Mario 64 and that being like my everything when I was like 6-7 years old, or like playing Mario Kart, whatever, all these games, to then jumping forward and I'm playing God of War Ragnarok, that shit fucking blows my mind.
Seriously. The analog people just brought out or are bringing out an N64 emulator.
I pre-ordered it.
That looks very, very cool, right? And I see people that grew up with the N64 getting really excited about it. But again, everyone's different. But I look and I go, man, do you genuinely still enjoy playing N64 games? Because that was a rough era for me.
The answer is yes. But I think that's just the part of our brains. It's like, nostalgia. I think
nostalgia does play it. That's what you had when you were a kid.
Yeah.
It's like I always say, like everyone thinks the best era of music is whatever was around when they were a teenager, right? And I think it's very similar with video games. Like, I love Commodore 64 and Sinclair ZX Spectrum games, even though most people look at that and go, seriously? But it's what I had when I was growing up. So it taps into something.
1,000%.
All right. I mean, we went off on a tangent there. Sorry. What were we talking about?
I forget. We were talking about Beyond Good and Evil 2 somehow. But, Gary, Beyond Good and Evil 2, whenever that comes out, it's going to be a big release. But
what is?
Beyond Good and Evil 2.
Oh, for sure.
But if I wanted something smaller, say the tiniest news I needed to know about, where would I go?
I'm ready this time. You'd go to our last story, the Wii News channel, where we cover all the small news items you need to know about.
I know Barry will appreciate this, right? Of like, when I was a kid, I didn't listen to much like, punk rock or like rap rock or whatever. Yesterday, I started listening to a bunch of Linkin Park. Like,
not a huge Linkin Park guy.
Really?
Yeah.
What's their biggest hit? What's the one song of theirs that I would know? Struggling to come up with one song? Holy shit.
There's the one. I'm trying to think of the name of it. Become so much.
In the end is also the other one. Yeah. No, Tim's more of the Linkin Park guy. That was always like, Linkin Park to me was in that middle ground of like kind of cringy dad rock and more of my era of music. Like Creed and Three Doors Down.
And by the way, there's nothing wrong with dad rock.
No, there's nothing wrong with dad rock. I associate it with some cringy people.
All you fucking whippersnappers, you young punks, you're all going to get to where I am eventually. When the PlayStation 9, remember that fucking orb, that spherical orb?
Oh, yeah.
When that's the thing, and you're my age, and you're going to be saying all the same shit that
Oh, no, I know for
now.
a fact. Look, Gary, I have such respect for you. Because, like...
And some fucking embryo, there's a fucking embryo right now is going to be going, oh, old man vibes.
And I
Shut up, Boomer.
Loki, I can't wait, because I can't wait to shit on all these fucking kids. Because they're going to be so annoying.
That's the best
they're
thing,
already
shitting
annoying.
on the
we
kids.
already got Roger to do that.
Yeah, we already got Roger out here.
Yeah.
God.
Yeah, that's the best part, because they don't know anything.
We news for you. This first one comes from Justin Carter at Game Developer. For the first time, motion capture workers in the games industry are unionizing. Through IATSE, 21 full-time employees at 2K's Petaluma, California studio, which handles mocap for its sports, XCOM, and Bioshock franchises, called for voluntary recognition by management at Take-Two. The staff also filed for a union election to be held at a later date. From VGC, PlayStation Stars will no longer give players credit for money spent on subscriptions following an update. Until now, money spent on subs such as PS Plus and EA Play would contribute to a user's PlayStation Star level. That is no longer the case. PlayStation Stars points will now also expire just over a year from the date
that
they
feels
were
like a bit of a rum deal. I saw a lot of people complaining about that in the last 24 hours. What do you think is that about?
I think there was a small subset of people that were like dialed into PlayStation Stars and were using it.
How do you earn PlayStation Stars? What is that?
Oh, Gary, you're asking questions that I wish I had the answer to. It's like
nobody even knows what the fuck they are.
It's in the PlayStation app. That's on your phone.
Okay.
If you have a PlayStation app. There's like a tab, and basically there's like missions that you fulfill.
Oh,
kind
of like the Xbox Game Pass quests.
Exactly.
I don't fuck with those either.
It'll be like, boot up The Last Guardian or some bullshit.
Right.
And then if you do, you get points, and those points can then transfer into like buying like things.
Like what sort of things?
I think you can get like actual money. Or,
no,
like
that's the
credit.
thing. They're saying you can no longer get like PlayStation bucks, right, or whatever. So what can you get? What do they send
you can get.
Is it like the fucking skee ball
tokens.
where you get a fucking little toy plastic car or some shit like that?
You can get like icons, like pictures and shit.
I bet these are the new skee ball tickets. You get like 1 million skee ball tickets, and the guy goes, here's a fucking plastic spider worth 2 cents.
What do you call NFTs, but like they're fungible?
NTs.
Yeah, you can get FTs.
No, just Ts.
Ts. Yeah,
right?
you can get Ts, I guess.
Just Ts. You can get Ts?
Yeah.
Okay.
You can get digital collectibles is what you can get.
Digital collectibles. What a fucking scam that is.
1,000%.
What a joke.
Dave the Divers, Dave and Friends collaboration update is now available. Everybody has friends now in the indie industry. Good for you. Undisputed, the boxing game, sold 1 million copies in its first week.
Wow.
Astrobot's latest speedrun level, Let It Slide, is now available. Another one from the PlayStation blog, the Helldivers 2 Truth Enforces Warbond release date is scheduled for October 31st, 2024, and Sniper Elite Resistance launches January 30th on Xbox One, Xbox Series X, PS4, PS5, and PC, and it's also available on Game Pass day 1. And that's it for Wii News.
The boxing one's interesting to me. I saw that Undisputed game and it looked good, and I remember thinking, I guess people are still making boxing games because EA got out of the business, right? Fight Night's gone.
EA stopped.
2K's never even bothered, as far as I know.
No,
but boxing is a huge sport. They
not-
sold 1 million copies. Maybe more companies should be doing boxing. Everybody
EA
went UFC, right?
This is what's going to happen because EA's been doing UFC for like the last generation. I think it's been like a full gen now without a Fight Night game. I think the last one was maybe PS3. I think for whatever reason they got out of it. I think they're going to see how well Undisputed
I'm saying they're probably looking at that going, shit, we might have missed something here.
1,000%. I knew
2K could get into that.
I knew this was going to be a hit when I was at my barber like a week and a half ago, and they start talking about like the new. Start talking about Dragon Ball sparking at my barber without me bringing it up.
I got to go to your barber. It's fucking cooler than my place.
But then like they start talking about the boxing game, and they had a PlayStation. Booted up the Undisputed boxing game, and handed me a controller, and they're like,
my God.
"All right, play this guy."
That's a great business idea. We should franchise that, right? A barber shop where you can play video games while you get your hair cut.
Here's the problem: is that it's really hard to focus on a game, like a competitive game, while getting your hair cut. Because I want to move my head.
All you have to do is sit still.
Yeah, but it's hard to sit still when you're playing like an action thing.
Is it a problem though when you're playing, the guy goes like that, and you're like, you're trying to...
Because no, my thing is I don't want to move because I don't want to fuck up my haircut.
Right.
But like I'm playing, and part of me wants to move with the controller.
I mean, when I play,
I'm a physical player.
It's funny, like when you see people playing like in a Nintendo commercial or the old video game commercial back in the day, people like this, playing video games. The reality is when you're playing a video game, you actually look like this.
I mean, not me when I was trying to get my haircut. I was like, I was trying to stay so still. And I don't know, it was just fucking up my performance.
I mean, the only time I ever like move is if I'm playing like a first person shooter and I'm really into it, is you find yourself like, or like you'll like lean into a jump, that sort of thing.
I guess I do lean forward.
Okay.
When I'm playing, when I'm trying to get serious in a game, I'm a lean forward person. And so like I'm just back in my chair, and it was my first time. I didn't even know the controls to this game. I don't know why they handed me the controller. It was one of those ones where I just started going to this barber. It's a new barber. My original barber disappeared off the face of the planet.
Maybe it was like cozy games, things where like Stardew Valley, where you can more just like chill out.
Dude, if they handed me a controller for Stardew Valley on my barber and they're like, went, hey, play, I'd be like, yo, this is the best barber of all time.
I was asking about cozy games recently, and somebody recommended me this game called Good Pizza, Great Pizza, and I'm fucking addicted to it now. All you do is run a pizza shop and make pizzas, and I can't get enough of it.
Hell yeah. Some year wrongs that I want to bring up here. Cozy Bear writes in and says, the Snickers/Marathon is more complex than you might think. Snickers was indeed initially marketed as Marathon and changed to Snickers in 1990 by Mars Inc. But the reason why it changed its name was because there already existed another candy bar in the US called Marathon, which was also manufactured by Mars. This other Marathon candy bar no longer exists and was basically identical to a Curly Whirly bar.
Oh, I've got to bring a Curly Whirly in for you. Blessing.
No way there's a real thing called a Curly Whirly.
Barrett,
what's going on over there?
Do the thing. It looks like a chocolate ladder.
Who names these things?
Curly Whirly.
Dr.
We have the
Seuss?
best. No, we have the best names for sweets. You will love a Curly. I've never given an American a Curly Whirly who hasn't thanked me for it afterwards.
Okay, I really want a Curly Whirly.
You're gonna get a Curly Whirly.
Which I'm scared to ask.
I'm
for
gonna hook you up.
All right, let's
Barrett,
go.
what's going on? Where's the Curly Whirly pictures?
I got other things that I'm working
He's
on.
asleep at the
Sorry,
wheel.
I can't always bring it up.
This is like having fucking Kevin
I'm looking
running
it up though. I'm looking it up.
And we got multiple people here.
How do you even fucking spell that?
Curly, and then Whirly is like curly but with a W.
Yeah, Whirly with a U.
There you go. So it looks like a chocolate ladder. Looks like a DNA helix.
I don't like that.
And it's you can get Curly Whirly Swirlies.
Oh,
Curly Whirly
those.
Squirlies.
Those look like
That's
worms.
new. I didn't know about
This
that.
looks like a manufacturing
And it's got
nightmare.
caramel on the inside. No, you love it. Now I'm craving a Curly Whirly. I might have to go to the British shop later. And
Vic
get myself
Rattler is fucking with me and says, "Bless, you haven't had a Binky Bonky bar?
No.
Is that a real thing?
No, that's made up.
Okay. Okay. I was about to say. People in the You're Wrong are saying you can still redeem the PlayStation Store credit. It used to be a $5 option and a $20 option. Now there's just a $10 option, but the rate is still the same. And so you can still get some money if you're with PlayStation Stars. And that's it for You're Wrong. I'm going to do a quick check at SuperChats to see if we're missing anything big. Tom Pritchard says, Gary, please give Mike some Marmite.
I don't think we must have done Marmite on the show before on one of those old things.
I think we did. I remember listening to that
I'm still a
podcast.
big fan of Marmite on my toast just this week. I love it.
Gary, that's going to bring us to the end of a very long, kind of funny game.
Yeah, so I always drag us over. Do I like fuck up your whole schedule when I come in?
Yes. But also there was breaking news. Like it was a, and we also talked.
I know,
20
but
minutes.
the 20 minutes of candy talk.
At first, when it was a slow news day, that made sense.
You
and then
started
For
it.
19 minutes to get to the
Look,
Rover
here's the
report.
thing. If you want to get straight into the news, you've got to jump straight in. You opened the door. You asked me about Halloween
Well,
candy, and then
because I knew what the news day was, and it was a slow news day until
Okay.
breaking news happened,
Right.
and then it just
So you
threw us
needed
all
to
off.
fill? Okay.
I did need to fill. Thank you so much for that, Gary. Also, thank you for coming through. That brings us to the end of the episode.
always happy to be here.
Of course, this has been Kind of Funny Games Daily. Each and every weekday, we run you through the nerdy news you need to know about live on YouTube, Twitch, and on podcast services around the globe. If you love what we do, support us with the Kind of Funny membership on Patreon or YouTube to get all of our shows ad-free, watch us record them live, and get a daily exclusive show. Enjoy the GAMESCAST next, which is going to be a one-on-one with me and Barrett talking about Metaphor versus Persona, and the stream after. But until next time, Game Daily.
Remember to vote.